Hello there, everyone. Jesus. Well, as you can see, I look like a bum. Haven't paid my rent in 8 months. I don't know how I'm still here. And I have been eating things that are cheaper than the McDonald's dollar menu, if that seems possible. I used to be a doctor, and it was all because of one false diagnosis. I'll never forget it either, because it ruined my career, and that's why I'm here now. So, any of you youngsters out there pursuing, excuse me, a medical career, don't do it. If you do, don't end up like me, where not only have I become a bum, but I also am the reason why San Francisco has a huge gangster problem. That is the penalty.
Hello there YouTube, I'm the Lon Chaney reviewer, and this week on Silent Film Saturday, I shall be reviewing one of Lon Chaney's first great performances, as the gangster Blizzard in The Penalty. So let's take a look at this package. Now before I begin, I just want to start off by saying that I do not own the best edition of this film. There was a Blu-ray edition released by Kino a few months back, and my DVD is about over 10 years old. So keep this in mind while watching this review, as I have not seen the best possible version of this film. Okay, so this is the DVD from Kino from 10 years ago. Like I said, the Blu-ray edition is out with the same supplemental features, but a better restoration, and even though it's the same picture on the cover, it's still a better looking case. So let us take a look at the reverse end of things. It gives us the running time, aspect ratio 1:3:1. It gives you credits, information, and the DVD features include a video tour of the makeup case and double amputee costume that Chaney used for The Penalty, which I think is really cool. Essay by Michael F. Blake. It was written 4 books on Lon Chaney, which is pretty cool. Theatrical trailers from The Big City and While the City Sleeps, which is pretty interesting. Surviving footage of the Miracle Man, which is actually kind of a miracle in itself because it preserves one of the more memorable scenes in that film. Where Chaney the Frog, it pretends to limp and then pretends to gain his ability to walk again, and it's an incredible piece of acting. Then you have the surviving one-reeler By the Sun's Rays, an essay on The Penalty, novel film to screen, novel script to screen, scene comparison with 3, and production budget sheet from The Penalty. And there's also galleries of photos and artwork. And those are the supplemental features on this disc. Now, the basic gist of the plot goes like this. Lon Chaney plays a crime lord named Blizzard who had both of his legs amputated at a very young age by a very young and inexperienced doctor. For one reason or another. This is probably the most convoluted part of the film, but you just have to buy it. It bothered me when I first saw it, but at the same time, this is still one of my favorite Lon Chaney films, and it still holds up after over 90 years. So, there are moments in films today where it's totally ridiculous, but you just buy it because it's a movie. And that's the same thing with the beginning of The Penalty. And that's probably my only major quibble with the film. Now, he becomes the biggest crime lord in San Francisco, and there's this woman who is sent down to investigate his crimes and his plans, named Rose. And Rose is an interesting character because she's like a really independent female character. She's like looks like a police or like detective type of character,
and her mission is to find out what Cheneys' character is doing. And at the same time, she has to pretend that she is one of Cheneys, ladies. And Chaney has a lot of his women make hats for him, and his favorite ones get to pedal for him on the organ because he loves music. He loves playing on his organ. That's one of the few good things about his character. It's one of the few rays of hope within this unfortunate tragedy of a man. And I think she's a really good character, and eventually she does kind of have feelings for Blizzard. And I guess you could say it's a little rushed, but at the same time, it makes sense. It's not implausible. I mean, it could be Stockholm Syndrome when you think about it. Had been there for a few weeks, I believe the film said, so it's not entirely implausible. There's another part of the plot that also deals with the doctor's daughter, the doctor who did the surgery to Chaney. The character's name is Barbara, and she is trying to pursue art, and she wants to sculpt a bust of Satan. And Chaney wanted to do this because he wanted to get in contact with that doctor and get his revenge. And his revenge plan, he wants to take the doctor's future son-in-law and grafts his legs onto his own. And that's pretty demented when you think about it. The film, I think that's really one of the best things about the film, is that it feels very fresh. It feels very modern. It doesn't feel like, other than the fact that, of course, the print is in different, color tones, and the fact that this is a orchestral score, which is done by the Mont Alto Orchestra, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a very good score, in my opinion, with some minor quibbles in terms of they use some vocals of people, and sometimes it gets distracting. But there's one scene in particular I think it works really well, and that's in the scene where Chaney is it's like the famous scene where you see him pulling the hair of one of his workers, and you hear this very ominous and menacing music, and you hear the breaths of a woman, and it's very haunting. This film is genuinely very creepy. A lot of horror movies today are just they're jump scares and they're just scaring you. Horror movies back then have a more creepy vibe. And that's what I like about silent horror films, is that they're creepy. They're not scary, but they're very disturbing sometimes, and creepy in the sense of their imagery and how they use it. And I was saying that how modern this story feels. It feels very modern for a lot of reasons. First off, I think Wallace Worsley, I don't think people give him enough credit. He also directed Ace of Hearts, if I'm not mistaken, the Lon Chaney film about Kismet, Destiny. And I enjoyed that film very much, actually. And I think it's one of his underrated films, but that's for another day. But anyway, he has some really nice shots. He's in a really nice overhead shot of the people, dealing out the cards. And I'm talking about Ace of Hearts. And this film, there's some really nice shots. For example, it's the film edits between Chaney and his workers, and between the police chief and Rose, because it kind of connects the fact that she's going to have to be a part of that world. She's going to have to be a part of Cheneys of that crime underworld, and I think that feels very fresh. There's also the use of flashbacks in this film. It's used a lot, obviously, when you think about the fact that something that happened in the past is very important and integral to the film's storyline. That surgery. That surgery is the most important plot element. I mean, Chaney wouldn't be doing this if he didn't get his legs amputated. So, and I have to really talk about Cheneys Performance here. Now, Cheneys Performance is, of course, amazing. This was one of the first Lon Chaney films I'd ever seen, and I hadn't seen this film in about 2 years. And that's why I love this doing these videos, is because I absolutely love whatchamacall. I love rewatching these films because I forget. I know they're good, but then I realize how good they are. Cheneys' performance in this film is nothing short of magnificent, and part of that has to do with the fact that he was just such a great mime. He was a great artist of pantomime. There are certain gestures that he makes in the film that you know exactly what he's implying. Like there's a scene where Rose says she loves him, and you know that what he's thinking. And there's another shot where they didn't need this title card, but it says it's just the title card. There's a title card that says that one of their former workers is now in the marble slab, which you presume, oh, she's dead, and then they add a title card saying that she is dead, and it's superfluous. But Cheneys, mime and performance make the scene three-dimensional. And if you didn't have that second title card I mentioned, you would know exactly what he's talking about, which I think is ingenious. Other Chaney scenes in this film that are magnificent, just anything. He just convinces you that even with his legs amputated, he is still a force to be reckoned with. And the amazing part about his performance is that he's most threatening when he's sitting down. Like when he's sitting down and you're looking at him, he is the most frightening character ever, because you don't know what he's going to do. He might pull a trap door on you, he might yell at you, he might get you killed. He could do anything when he's sitting down. And that is one of the most interesting elements to his character. So, at the end of the day, I have to say, if you're starting out with silent films, I definitely would check this one out. And if you're a Chaney fan, you probably would have seen this already. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the review, because I enjoyed watching this film and reviewing it for you guys. This is an excellent Chaney film. Definitely check it out. And I'll see you guys next week when I review Paul Wegener's Der Golem, the German Expressionist classic. I'll talk to you guys during the week. Peace. One more minute. Greg Millard was the one who requested this film. Thank you, Greg, for all of your support on the site. And if you guys want to request a silent film, just you could personal message me. You can comment, and I'll try to get to it. I have a schedule set up that will probably last me until July, like 4th of July weekend. So it might be a bit difficult to fit things in, but I'll certainly try. Also, I just want to make a point that there might be a period where 2 weeks in a row I won't do a Chaney review. I'll just do a silent review. This is probably going to happen in late May because, like I said, there's not a lot of Chaney films, and actually, originally it was just a scheduling error, then I realized it's going to help me a lot. So I hope you guys understand this. If you have any other questions, please comment below, message me on Facebook. And that's about it. Thank you for the support. Share it on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, and follow my Twitter.